I think a part of emotional intelligence has to do with how you regulate after you've been offended.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But maybe moving in a different direction. You said something earlier in your response about comfort and I guess maybe the challenge of it, because I feel like there's two sides of pain. It's like the pain of staying the same or the pain of change. With that being said, how do you find yourself challenging yourself in any arena of like the last month or two or three or last year?
I think it's getting back to not necessarily doing anything new. Like touring, the sudden surge in attention, it threw my routine off. My routine like pushes me and challenges me. You know what I'm saying? Like I stretch every day. Or when I'm on my square, I stretch every day, meditate every day, do a light calisthenics workout at the crib every day. And I push myself in those things. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, all right, cool, I did 30 minutes 5 days last week. Let me see if I can meditate for 45 for 5 days this week. You know what I'm saying? And them extra 15 minutes are some of the most uncomfortable because your body starts to become tuned to what 30 minutes is, regardless of whether you're on the clock or not, or looking at the clock or not. And so your body starts to know, like, hey, usually we be done right now, what's going on? So then the thoughts start raging. Same thing with the calisthenics. It's like when you get used to doing like 50 push-ups in a row, and that's it, like you just stop right there. 55 hard as fuck. If you made no effort over the last 6 months to push past that, you was just satisfied with your 50. So it's like, now having fallen off of that, it's like, all right, cool. Shit, and even the square one is dope, honestly, being back at the square one, because now I got to put the brain power to use, right? Because the body done fell off in certain aspects. So now I got to really tap in to the intangibles and really fall back to the core of this whole thing, which is the why. And the why being what you had just explained is that it's the pain of growth and the pain of stagnation. So like it's me choosing my pain. Essentially, it's like I set up lanes to choose discomfort to get my reward. So those are usually the areas I challenge. One of the other areas I challenge myself is creativity. Lately, that's been in production. Like a lot of my beats are actually just challenges to myself. Like a lot of music wouldn't even necessarily come out. Like, man, I want to see if I can flip this record. I want to get tighter at mixing the low end. Let me make something bass heavy and see if I can clean it up, because I was terrible at that 3 years ago. I made this beat 3 years ago that would have been some of the hardest shit I've ever made, but I didn't know how to mix low end, so let me see if I could do that now. Let me purposely create something messy to see if I could fix it. And so I think I just find opportunities to grow and learn in everything that I'm doing, everything that I care about, I guess. And I don't think that's as difficult as it sounds. I don't think it's as deep as it sounds. I think if you pay attention, like if you're present with whatever work you do, you realize it's always an area you can challenge yourself in and improve in. I mean, you as a visual storyteller, right, you had just talked about not necessarily recording anymore, but I'm sure it's like videos you watch, new cameras you hip to, the tech that you still, it's like it's new to learn, new ways to grow. Shit, this camera right here, when you got it, you're like, oh shit, you mind if I sit with this? I want to try a couple things, and that was an opportunity to get uncomfortable, get a new machine in your hands and learn something. So I think it's all where you choose. But in the last 90 is getting back on my meditation, getting back to my calisthenics, man, getting back to my stretching.
Got you. Do you see okay. So Kenya asked a question. The reason why I kind of I don't know you're going to lead into it this much, but Kenya asked, how do you incorporate the knowledge you've gained and put it into practice? The reason being, she says, oftentimes we teach the knowledge, but a lot of times we struggle with implementation and integration. Can you share recommendations around the how?
good people. I've expressed in many a video the desire to be seen as a human being. The desire to be seen as just as curious and imperfect as every other person. Because there is not a person who in every moment of their lives is able to walk in what they say. My gift is articulation. My gift is oration. That's my the ability to make it plain, tangible, palatable, without losing effectiveness. That's my. That doesn't mean that I don't struggle to implement even some of the game that I've been given. The game that I've given. I gotta make sense every day just like everybody else. It don't mean I'm out here down bad. It don't mean I don't practice what I preach, but that's the word, ain't it? Practice. Practice what you preach. As in put in an effort to become better at. Not master what you preach. Not perpetually live in what you preach. It's practice. Like on some AI practice. We talking about practice. But on the opposite end, it's like, no, bro, we're practicing. That's how I implement it. And that's not saying it to be funny or dismissive or anything like that. I literally practice. Oh, this seems like a more efficient way to human. Let me try it. Ain't never been that type of considerate before. Let me try that. See what that get me. You know what? I ain't ever tapped in with my people on a regular basis. I ain't never really put in no effort to schedule like weekly calls with my people. Let me try that. Let me see what that do for the friendship. Let me see if that add a new layer of texture. We're all trying, and that's what I'm saying is like appreciate my humanity. That way you can appreciate yours. Whatever it is you see in me that you call wisdom or anything like that, you have to understand we connected to the same source. Right? And so you have the ability to practice and do all of these things. You may not be able to say it the way that I say it, but please don't mistake my gifts for the actual work. I'm out here trying to work like y'all, trying to become a better human like y'all.